Okay. Okay, the show's over, but there's still internet people watching, and we'll grab a few more calls. Bernard is still on the line, I think. No, he's not. Okay, we did not drop him. You see, my hands were over here the whole time. I have no control over the phone box. Give me line 1. Robert, Brisbane, Australia.
Hello, how are you?
G'day.
Can you hear me? Am I coming through okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Cool. My question was about, like, the main religions that you see today,
I can't hear.
whether you think they were intelligently designed or whether they sort of evolved and survived through the ages. Because if you look at some of the aspects of them, like a lot of the lobbying against abortion in America seems to, it's like winning by just outproducing your opponent and indoctrinating your children type thing, or how God is outside the sort of realms of logic and reason, so you can't question him in that way.
You're asking us to make a distinction about, like, given that we don't think that religion is true, do we think there was some lying mastermind who came up with it himself, or do we think it is an emergent property of a bunch of different beliefs that feed on each other over thousands of years? Is that the question?
Yeah, that's a much better way of putting it, yeah.
I think it's a little of both.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything
I think you know, a combination of agency detection and unexplainable phenomenon in nature, and over thousands of years, yeah, people attributed things to forces or beings outside of the natural realm.
Yeah, there is this one guy who keeps popping up every few years, and he's like, I have proof that Jesus never existed, and he was deliberately invented by this small group of Romans who knew they were lying to people to get power. This guy does not have that proof. And while it's possible that that could actually be true, I would classify that as an extraordinary claim that would require a hell of a big conspiracy and needs more evidence than the alternative, which is that people just accept what they're told, and over time they don't remember why their ancestors originally thought what they thought. And maybe there's an element of self-serving lying going on. Like, I mean, Joseph Smith, I think we can mostly agree that it's awfully convenient that he had these magic plates that only he could see, and they said he was allowed to get laid with a whole bunch of younger women than his wife.
Why do the cults always have that? Like, the cults always have that element where you can have as many women as you want.
Yeah,
it's never like a female cult where she can have as many men as she wants.
Right. Well, some of it is existing power structures, and I'm not
the male-dominated societies of the past, obviously.
It's awfully convenient that it works out that way. I was saying to a group yesterday too that you never have the little boy who's a Christian who has a near-death experience and wakes up and tells a story about how they met Allah. You know, it's you know, they always meet the God that they were taught to believe as a child. So, I mean, I just think that we are wired to see the world in a particular way, and then we find the evidence to meet that, to fulfill that belief that we already have. We almost never do we like objectively look at the information and then come to our beliefs. We usually are given a belief that we feel very intent about maintaining, and then we find evidence and experiences in our own lives that support that belief, and we marginalize and push aside the data points that tend to dissuade us from that belief. And
on that note, do you mind if I ask you a slightly different question about skepticism?
All right, but make it quick. We're headed for dinner.
All right, I'll try and make it quick. I just have struggled because I've been an atheist my whole life, and I'm a very strong believer in being skeptical and questioning things, but it's kind of draining in a sense that, like, going through that process on every single little point very hard to get anywhere with anything type thing. So because I'm a perfectionist, and you can come up with arguments for pretty much every angle, and it's hard for me to sometimes make a decision of which way to go, and I'm kind of, in a sense, never really getting anywhere with because I'm so skeptical about everything in a sense.
Yeah, there can be an infinite regress to skepticism, you know, and I think we have to live in the real world, and I trust my doctor more or less to take good care of me.
I think this is a big topic, and my #1 recommendation would be pick up a book on the philosophy of science, if you can find one. Because I think that will make it more clear why you should be skeptical and what the limits of that are.
Yeah, the limits of skepticism.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can recommend one. I've been listening to a book on Audible called by David Deutsch. It's The Beginning of Infinity.
David Deutsch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
The
you.
Beginning of Infinity.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate all the work you guys are doing to promote atheism.
All right. Line 3, and then we're out.
Oh, we're going to do another one?
Oh, do you want to go out?
Sure, no, we'll do one more.
Okay. All right. Nicki in Denver, you're the last caller after the show.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Let me take you off speaker. I'm glad I made it in. I have a question for Russell, and I'm sorry,
Yes.
who's the other gentleman?
This is Ryan Bell.
Ryan Bell.
You can
Hi,
check
I've
him
never
out at
seen him before.
yearwithoutgod.com. Okay.
Okay, so I've heard Russell say, or you, Russell, say that abortion should be the last recourse, and I just want to ask you why.
I don't know if I said that.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I just kind of remember hearing somewhere along the lines where
I personally think that if you are not ready to have a child and you are pregnant, it should maybe be your first recourse. Well, let me amend that. Your first recourse ought to be birth control, because it's a lot cheaper and less draining of your time.
Okay.
But, you know.
Yeah, oh gosh, I wish I could reference the time that I heard this, but that's basically the idea that I got from you, where you were saying that...
it is entirely possible that I made a mistake. That's been known to happen.
No, I think I made the mistake. I think I misrepresented what you said just now. So essentially, I'm also pro-choice, and in arguing with people, I always kind of go through explaining that abortion should be kind of like the last form of an I guess if you want to call it birth control, but it should be the last form. And I'm not sure how I can defend that, given that, I mean, I don't know if you've heard about the story of kids or babies in China, or fetuses in China, where they get cooked. I know it's like a hoax and it's not even true, but it just got me thinking about if this were to actually be the case, what do we pro-choicers have to say against that? Yeah,
I feel like abortion is kind of in the same camp with, let's say, chemotherapy. If you've gotten to the point where chemotherapy is necessary, then you are already having some problems. But at the point where chemotherapy is necessary, I don't hear anybody saying, hey, let's make chemotherapy safe, legal, and rare. It's, it's like, if you need chemotherapy, it should be available to you. And that is what I think about abortion.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go get to your dinner. I just wanted to have a quick conversation about that.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.